Okay, well, fantastic to see you all here. Firstly, welcome and congratulations. I know a lot of you have worked extremely hard to get here, so it's fantastic for you to actually be here. My name's Andrew McKinnon. I'll be sort of emceeing today. I'm also the Level 1 Director of Physics, so if you have to do some physics course, you're probably going to encounter me. Hopefully for some of you, at the end of that, you'll be going, wow, physics is awesome, I never realised. We never know. Okay, before I start, I'd actually like to first, we'd like to acknowledge that the land that we meet on today is the traditional land for the Kaurna people, and that we respect their spiritual relationship with their country. We also acknowledge that the Kaurna people are the traditional custodians of the Adelaide region, and that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Kaurna people today. Okay, now I'd like to actually invite the Executive Dean to come up and say a few words to officially start today's proceedings. Thank you, Keith.
Okay, thanks, Andrew. Can you hear me okay at the back? Yeah, good-o. Right. So, my name is Keith Jones. I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Sciences, and all of you here today are doing a degree that's organised by that faculty. Just by way of introduction, just let me explain a little bit about my history. I'm a biologist, and I graduated from a university in the UK, University of Leeds, in 1989, which I guess from a lot of you is a long, long time ago, when the dinosaurs roamed the earth. It sort of reflecting on my time at university, there was a lot of things that we take for granted now that weren't happening at that time. Personal computers had just taken off, although they were so expensive, most people couldn't afford to have them. And for me as a biologist, it was a great time to be doing a degree. There was a lot of excitement in the field. There were a lot of things that were in the press and happening that made biology interesting. And I guess the thing that I remember quite clearly during my degree is that HIV/AIDS as an epidemic was there, and the biology about it, understanding of how it was transmitted, was relatively obscure. And there's a lot of really interesting research going on in that area. And if I reflect on how biology has changed since I graduated, it took nearly 10 years before Dolly the sheep was cloned, and cloning is now a big thing. Stem cell research is a big area of biology. It didn't exist when I graduated. It was over 10 years before the human genome was fully sequenced from when I graduated. And look at the way genome editing, CRISPR-Cas, is now a mainstay of biology. So the message for you guys is it's a really exciting time to be doing sciences as a degree, any aspect of sciences, be it physics, although I have a natural affection for biology. And the really exciting things is we don't know what's around the corner. Once you graduate from here, there are going to be really exciting developments in your field. Possibly you'll go on to be discovering them. And it's really important to reflect on the fact that your education here at Adelaide University is not only has a focus on subject-specific skills, but is also going to train you in all of what some people call these soft skills outside of your immediate area that will be really important for your future career, whatever that will be. If you stay in sciences, you're going to be facing challenges that currently we don't have solutions for. And that will require both subject-specific skills and knowledge outside of your area. But of course, maybe the vast majority of you won't go on to a career in sciences, but will be using all of these other skills that you've built up in your 3 or 4 years here in your future jobs. And it's to reflect on the importance of developing those skills. You'll have far more independent study during your degree. Doing a degree at university will be very different to studying at high school. And that's an important thing to acknowledge now. You're going to experience things that will catapult you in a completely different trajectory to the experiences that you've had at high school. But the important thing to remember is that at the University of Adelaide, you will have lots of support in that transition. So you're not alone. You've got a whole host of staff, academic staff, and support staff to help you. And I think in the tsunami of information that comes to you today, one important thing, probably the primary thing to remember, is to remember that you have that level of support here and to understand where to go to. So the default is, if you've got any information that you need to glean from somebody because you don't understand something, then to go to the Science Hub. And the Science Hub is located in the Darling building opposite the library and the student hub. So if you just remember that one thing, that will hold you in good stead for the rest of your time here. So thank you for choosing the University of Adelaide. You made the right decision. We have here a level of support and a level of opportunity that is difficult to find elsewhere. And we hope that we can give you the level of support and knowledge that you're going to need in your time here to be a success. So welcome again. It's a pleasure to have you here, and we're looking forward to helping you to learn during your time here. So I'm going to hand back to Andrew.
Thanks, Keith. Okay, now we're going to try and make this a fairly informal, and as Keith mentioned, we're going to give you some information. We're not going to overload you, and if the only thing you remember about today is go to the Science Service Hub, okay? If you're not sure, go to there. If they can't help you, they will actually point you in the right direction. Okay, now, quick housekeeping few things. If you need to use the toilets, this building actually has 2 entrances, which probably some of you are finding out just now. There's the entrance which comes into the lecture theatre. If you go around either side of the building, there's another entrance. And that's the way that there's the lifts there, and they'll take you up to the labs if you're doing physics or biology. The toilets are located there, so you can either go out the stairs and walk around, or you can actually exit out this door here, and there's toilets also around that way. So if you keep following around, you will eventually find the toilets. Now, if there is an emergency and we need to evacuate, normally by me saying that, it will not happen. If we do need to evacuate, the place we meet is just out near the River Torrens, but this side of the road. So where there's a pedestrian crossing, that's where the assembly point is in case there's emergency. Now, what we're going to be doing this morning is we're going to be hearing from a lot of current students about some of their experiences, the services they use, also some of the really neat things that you can actually get involved with outside of your study, and that's probably the really cool thing about university. All the other stuff you can do, just make sure you still do study, okay? That is one of the main reasons why you're actually here. Also, we're going to have an opportunity at the end where you can ask any questions. And the fun bit is I've got a microphone that I'll throw at people if they want to ask a question, not just randomly throw it at you. Now, first, I want to acknowledge some of you have come really far. We've got a lot of interstate people. We've got overseas people. So, you know, it's fantastic that, you know, you've come here and hopefully you are enjoying O Week. And look, it's fantastic. It's a great bunch that we've actually got this year. So we're really looking forward, and the lecture theatre is almost full, which is really brilliant. Okay, so first of all, what I want to sort of talk a bit about is, you know, sciences at Adelaide, sciences in South Australia, and even just broadly why it's really cool to be doing science. And Keith touched upon a lot of the real reasons of you're going to get to study something which is going to give you the skills that is going to get you a job. Okay, so that's what we really want to sort of talk about. Now, University of Adelaide, we're the only university in the state which is in the top 150 worldwide. And you sort of go, oh, top 150, but there are thousands and thousands of universities, and we're within the top 150 in the entire world. Okay, some of the really cool things is we actually had one of our own scientists. In 2017 was the SA Scientist of the Year. And that was fantastic. That was James Patton, did some fantastic stuff. And the other thing too is we know that one of the growing areas, and you guys would have seen it when you look in the papers, you know, what are the areas that I'm going to get jobs? And the really cool thing, and hopefully that's one of the reasons you're here, is it's the science, it's the STEM stuff. The skills that you get, that's what the employers actually want. That's what is actually going to get you a job. And this is a challenging thing. Gone are the days where you'll start having a job and you'll be in that job forever and ever. If they actually look at it, the average time, the national average time in a job is about 3.5 years, okay? So if you sort of work out that means you're going to have 17 different jobs. And you might think, crap, I'm going to be losing my job that often. No, it's the way the workforce has actually evolved, where you'll actually find you are transitioning, you're changing. You're going to, on average, have 5 different careers. So the career that you have straight out of uni will probably not have the career that you have just before you retire. And what's going to enable you to transition from one career to another is those skills, those problem-solving skills, those analytical skills. There was a survey which was done only a few years ago, which was done by the Office of the Chief Scientist. And they went out to all these employees and said, okay, what are the skills that you actually want? It wasn't discipline-specific knowledge, wasn't the number one. You can see there active learning, critical thinking, complex and creative problem-solving, interpersonal skills. That's what we're going to try and develop within you. Some of you already have those skills, but we're going to develop them even further because that's what's going to get you a job. That's what's going to maintain you being employed. It's what's going to give you a job which is going to be interesting and stimulating and you're going to enjoy doing. And they're the things that we actually teach you. And to teach you that critical thinking, that problem-solving skills, we've got to give you problems. Okay? Sometimes we give you challenging things. And the funny thing is, okay, who goes to the gym and works out? Okay, a few people. Okay, who's ever gone to the gym and worked out and went, oh yeah, that wasn't for me? Okay. But whenever you're doing exercise, and at the end of the exercise, you're like, oh God, I'm buggered. Oh, but that was awesome. How many people actually walk out of an exam and go, oh, my head hurts. Oh, that was awesome, okay? Because I was using my brain, you know, I was working hard. And that's the thing is, you know, we're a top university. We are going to challenge you, but the reason you're here is you're capable. You know, we know, and we're here to help you on that journey, getting to the skills and getting to do things that you want. And as Keith also talked about, there are problems. There are the problems we know about, and there's problems which are still coming. Some of the big issues we have, food scarcity, being able to feed the world, that's a big issue. We even look like nationally, we've got the water issues with the River Murray and irrigation. And even if we look some of the stuff which is actually being done in South Australia with food waste. We've got so much waste, how do we handle it? And these are some of the sort of, you know, you've got the climate change, which is the one that always gets thrown out. You know, big issue. I should actually say I'm actually an atmospheric physicist, so I'm going to actually ignore that for a moment. Some of the big challenges, it's scientists which are going to be the people who solve it, who help come up with these solutions. So this is where we need, in a sense, when I retire, I want to leave the world in your hands to make sure you fix all the stuff that we've done. Okay, so, you know, it is challenging, but that means it's going to be rewarding. That's going to be some of the really cool stuff that you're going to be able to do. Now, if we look at sort of also what the future scientists, and you might look at some of that and you go, well, these are where people could end up doing. What are the problem solvings? Merchant banker, you go, what the hell is merchant banker doing up there? What's that got to be doing with a scientist? Okay, merchant bankers, often they want people who can analyse complex things and solve problems. Funny thing is theoretical physicists often end up in the finance industry. because it's the skills. And that's one of the really cool things, is you're going to be able to get to study the stuff that you enjoy, the stuff that you find really interesting. And along the way, you're going to get the skills that are going to get you a job at the end, are going to get you employment. And in some cases, it might be in that area. You might end up becoming a biologist or a chemist, or you might end up becoming a patent attorney. You might end up working for one of the spy agencies. I have people I studied with who work somewhere in Canberra. They can't tell me what they do. Okay, and I'm not making that up. He really can't tell me what I do, what he does. Okay, now that's enough of me talking. What I'm going to do is I'm now going to be sort of handing over to people, and they're going to talk about some of the things. So the first person I'd like to invite up is Ben, and he's going to talk about the Adelaide University Union. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks so much. That was really inspiring. I actually kind of wish I'd studied science now. I'm an art student, by the way, but still, that was really cool. Thank you. So I'm here representing the Adelaide University Union, and I'd just like to give you a bit of information about what the union is, what we do, and how we can kind of help you make the very most of your time at Adelaide University. So who are we? We are the largest student-led organisation on campus. We first set up shop in 1895, so we're actually older than most of the universities in the world. 1895 is when we started, and we've been... Our job since then has been to make student life fun, accessible, and give students a voice at the university. And we do that in a variety of ways. We've got quite a few different organisations that work underneath us and work with us. So we've got our student care organisation, we've got employment and volunteering services, student representative council, and of course all of our clubs. And so basically what we do, we provide students with a whole bunch of services to help them get balance and provide support to a number of student organisations who work towards making the campus and engaging and give the real campus a sense of community. And we've run all of our student media outlets. So you'll see just in the tent just outside this building, our two student media outlets, Student Radio and On D. On D is the physical magazine that gets printed every couple of months, and it is run by a bunch of student editors who collect and organise entirely student content. So if you have a bit of an inclination for writing or drawing or content creation or publications of any means, get in contact with them, and they'll be able to help you. And it's really great, gratifying feeling to seeing your work published in printed format, and it's a really great way to work on editing skills or writing skills or drawing skills, or just to meet some new people who are kind of similarly interested. We've got a student radio service as well. They're on Radio Adelaide every Wednesday and Thursday nights, and they're basically full of student radio shows. There's a queer radio show. There is a arts and culture radio show. If you have an area of interest that you'd like to discuss with other students, have broadcast live to the rest of the state, go chat with those guys, and and they will facilitate you basically becoming your own radio host or podcast host. And student representation. The SRC, the Student Representative Council, is a group of students who advocate on behalf of students and take student issues to university, higher decision making, and try and really create positive change in the university. So if you feel like getting in contact with them, if you feel like there's an issue that is not being looked after, if you feel like you're being underrepresented in a certain area, you get in contact with them, and you can really work towards making positive change in the university. Our clubs, we've got over 150 clubs that we administer, all of them student-run, all of them student-led, and my best experiences at uni was through the clubs that I joined. There's over 150, there's a huge variety of social clubs, special interest clubs, faculty clubs. We've got representatives here from the Sciences Club, so they'll go into that more. Right on the outside this hall as well in O Week is our clubs land. Also up in the Hub Central, there's all of these clubs cycling through this week to try and get out and talk to you guys. So if you join a club, it's one of the best things you can do at uni, as well as attend every single one of your lectures. So make sure you just check out, see what's around. And if you look, you can go onto our website, the Adelaide University Union Clubs website, look through all of their clubs. If you don't see one that you'd like to join, you are more than welcome to start your own club. We have a great support base in place, ready to help facilitate and administer you while you start up your own club. And we also have a really great loan support a grant support program as well. We have heaps. The University Union runs heaps of events all throughout the year. Some of them are free, some of them are ticketed, some of the networking and social events. We have a summer and spring expo. We do workshops out at the Wake campus. We do a stressless day, which is really popular, which is just before exams each semester. We do free bingo out at Roseworthy. We do free bingo in the uni bar. We did a really successful native food market last year, which was really cool. There's a huge variety of networking and social events and member and non-member events as well. So yeah, the majority of our funding comes from the SAFS fee, the Student Services and Amenities fee, and it is our one of our main objectives that 100% of that money goes straight back into the students and creating campus culture. We do an exam desk at the Wayville Showgrounds, which helps people by loaning out calculators, giving pencils. I've given a few hugs in my time at the exam station to students who've really needed it. We do a student care breakfast club as well, which I think is moving to 4 mornings a week, which is just a free breakfast for anyone to attend. And as I mentioned, the Stress Less event, which I mentioned before, that's all SAF funded. So yeah, we take a percentage of the SAF fee that you guys give to the university. We take a percentage of that and we give 100% of that back into the university to try and create a really vibrant and engaging and supportive campus community. We also have a membership program. It's $30 for 1 year, $55 for 3 years. It gives you access to all of the events that we run, all of the support services that we have. We have heaps of discounts, heaps of competitions and rewards that we're constantly giving out. And it's a really great way to kind of get more from your university experience. We have heaps of discounts both on and off campus. So there's a Boost Juice discount, a Subway discount. There's discounts at most of the retail outlets on campus. So if you like a morning coffee or a breakfast, you can get 10% off all of those vendors up there as well. We've also got a fitness hub discount, which is 10%, I think. And uni merchandise, members receive 10% off all of the hoodies, all of the t-shirts. If you're studying out at Roseworthy, there's a whole stack of equipment discounts that you can get as well. There's discounts on all of our employment and professional development courses as well, which is facilitated by the Employment and Event Service. Student care, however, is not a members-only service. It is open to every single student at the university, every single student, and they are a free, independent and confidential advocacy service. If you've got a grievance or a complaint about a teacher, about another student, if you're unhappy with a mark and you're unhappy with the way it was dealt with in the lecture by the lecturer, you can go to student care and they will help you navigate the sometimes quite complex university systems. They also provide loans and grants. If you're struggling to pay rent, you can apply for a grant and they'll give you a bit of money to help you through. And they're there basically just to provide a level of support that you may not feel like you're getting with the university. So as I said, they're free, independent and confidential, and they also provide Roseworthy and wait services as well if you end up at either of those campuses. Employment and volunteering services, they help you find a job while you're studying at university. They help you through one-to-one appointments. They can help you with your resume, with your cover letters, all of those kind of things. And they've also got a job listings and search assistance register as well. They run a whole stack of short courses and training programs. So if you feel like you want to do a first aid course or a bar course or a forklift course, they facilitate a whole lot of those. And if you're a union member, you get a little bit of a discount from those as well. I don't really need to tell you about O-Week because O-Week's, you're in the middle of it. So yeah, O-Week for us, for the union, we're running the big event, which is just the side over there. It's running for the rest of today. And then tomorrow we're going to be in the hub where there's going to be a whole lot of events going on as well. There's all of these events. So we've got a lazy breakfast on Friday, which is being run by the SRC. It's free breakfast for everyone as well as free coffee. There's an ice cream social tomorrow. I believe it's running from 2 till 6 p.m. So it's an ice cream social. You might have to get there early because the ice cream's all probably going to melt in the sun, but that's all right. You just have to eat it quickly. So we've got a house party in the old Unibar rather, on level 5, which is just over in Union House. We've got a house party which is being run by the 2 student media outlets that I just mentioned before as well. And we've also got a movie night at the Palace Nova Cinemas on Rundle Street, where we're showing Captain Marvel, which is going to be really fun. So where are we? This is our website, which you can see. It's where you can access. It's kind of a one-stop shop if you want to investigate clubs further, if you want to see what support services, student care, and the employment services can offer. And that's also where you can jump onto our membership website as well. And if you'd like to join up, that's where you should go. And we also have a physical office up in Union House, level 4 of Union House. That's our reception. That's where you can chat to one of our staff members about joining up. Or if if you feel a bit lost on campus, that's also a great place to go as well to check in and just get a bit of help. And we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on all of the social medias. And but if you really want to find out more about us, just head to our website, au.org.au. That's the best place for you to go and just find out as much as you can. All right, and that's it from me. Thanks, guys. So if you have any questions, I'm going to be at the membership store, which is just around the corner. Otherwise, I really hope you have the best O week. There's so many things going on, too many things sometimes, but just make the most of it. You only really get one first O week, so really make the most of it. And I hope you all have a great time. Thank you.
Cool, thanks. Thanks, Ben. Okay, now, ironically, after we've just welcomed you, we're now going to encourage you to go away. What I actually mean by that is there's fantastic opportunities to study abroad, and that can be just 1 semester, 2 semesters. It can be just a few weeks. So I'm just going to play a short little video, and then we're going to hear from someone who actually had one of these experiences.
When I was young, I was dreaming I can study abroad.
And I've always wanted to come to America. You see the movies, you see the college lifestyle.
What better way to, see a country than to actually get to live here for 6 months?
The experiences have just been incredible, and it's something that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
I wanted to do study abroad for almost like a holiday, but you still get to do your subjects.
I want to go speak the language. I want to expand my language skills because there's nothing like being in the country and speaking it.
I'm hoping to be accepted into veterinary science. I think doing an exchange really gives me an edge on other people who are applying.
Employers love it. If you've studied internationally, it looks great.
Coming over to study is a little bit more nerve-wracking, but once you realise that everyone's in the same boat as you, it's really not as scary as you think, and it's definitely worth it in the end.
With most degrees at Adelaide, it's really quite easy if you had to do a study abroad semester because you don't have to seriously match up your courses or wait and go back and do an extra semester.
The process is easy and the guys at the exchange obviously look after you. In terms of saving money, the government's pretty good.
Jordan and I were able to get 2 OS help loans for 2 semesters, and then we were lucky enough to get scholarships from the Australian government.
It's so easy to jump on a bus and go to a different country. We've been to Wales.
Stopped off at Las Vegas for a night.
A big group of us went to a house in the mountains.
I've been to London a few times.
We went to Puerto Rico for fall break, which was amazing.
The independence you gain from doing an exchange, you can't really get it any other way.
I've become a lot more culturally aware of what's going on in the world. The people that I've met over here, I'll stay in contact with my entire life.
It made me realise that there's just so much more opportunity in the world.
If you are an undergraduate or if you're going into university right now, the #1 thing that you should think about is going on exchange.
Cool. Despite what that video says, there's not someone following with a camera, though, when you're on the study tour. Now, we're going to hear from Lucy, she's doing a Bachelor of Science, a double in Chemistry, and she spent 1 semester at North Carolina State. Thanks, Lucy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lucy. Like Andrew said, I'm studying a Bachelor of Science with a double Chemistry major. I actually started my first year studying chemical engineering with finance and switched into science in my second year as I enjoyed it and liked working in the lab. I am now in my final semester of my science degree and I'm hoping to start honours mid-year this year. I went on my exchange in semester 1, 2018, at North Carolina State University in Raleigh in America. The semester started in January and ended in May, and including travelling at the end, I was away for 5 months in total. On my exchange, I did biochemistry, genetics, inorganic chemistry, and international studies as second and third year elective subjects. I lived in a college dorm on campus with roughly half international students and half American students, called the Global Village, so I got the chance to meet people from all over the world. I had a roommate and she was from Spain. I loved the college lifestyle, such as going to basketball games, eating in a dining hall, living on campus, and of course going to college parties. I loved the school spirit, college pride, learning the college songs, and really getting involved at the university. It was an amazing opportunity to experience university in another country, and it was different to here at Adelaide. Attendance was compulsory and the lectures weren't recorded if you missed them. One subject I did had 5 exams throughout the semester, as well as weekly homework and attendance grade. Other than studying and the college lifestyle, I did a lot of travelling on the weekends and at the end of the semester. During the semester, I did a weekend trip to Florida and got to go to Universal Studios. I also did a weekend trip to Washington. On spring break, we did a road trip down to New Orleans. And at the end of the semester, I went to New York and did a LA to San Fran road trip on the West Coast. I know everyone says this, but going on exchange was honestly the best thing I ever did. The memories I have from exchange, I know I'll cherish forever, and the people I met, I know I'll be friends with for life. I was lucky enough to have 10 other students from Adelaide at NC State with me, and we're all still catch up here back at Adelaide. And one of my American friends is actually here at Adelaide studying exchange here for a semester. If you would prefer a shorter global trip, there are study tours that run in summer school and winter school that run for 2 to 4 weeks, so look on the Study Overseas website. Studying overseas was a great opportunity. It was really fun, exciting, and worthwhile. If this is something that you're interested in, please start preparing early. If you have any other questions, please go see the Science Services Hub. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Lucy. Okay, now, as previously Ben mentioned, there's heaps of university clubs, so I'm just going to show you a short little video. See, there's a theme developing here. And then we're going to actually hear from someone from the Science Club. Okay, now we're going to hear from Reese, who's involved with Oscar, which is one of the oldest clubs actually at the University of Adelaide.
Okay, so good morning everyone. My name is Reese, as Andrew said, and I'm here on behalf of Oscar to tell you what does Oscar stand for, what is it, and why you should join today. So firstly, what does Oscar stand for? Oscar stands for the Adelaide University Science Association. So it's a funny acronym. But as Andrew said, it's one of the oldest clubs at the university. It's a student-ran organisation that focuses on representing and supporting the science community here at the university. In the past, we've focused our attention on providing extracurricular social activities for students to expand their social network and to have a bit of fun. You're not just at university to study. So in the past, our most popular activities have been our pub crawls, our Sci-Ball or Science Ball, and our quiz nights. We also host free membership barbecues and other industry nights with commercial partners and industry relations to improve your employability. Our aim is to get students to have a bit of fun whilst they're at university and experience the other awesomeness that university can offer outside of the lecture hall. So a little bit about me. Last year I was in your shoes in this lecture theatre listening to the same speech. And I started my degree not really knowing anyone. But for me, I was very excited and keen to get involved, and I thought, just go for it. So I joined Oscar, I joined the French club, and I joined the touch footy club. As part of it was for the pub crawls and the free food and all of the freebies that you get along with it. But the other part of it was because it made me feel like I was part of a bigger community. There are clubs to suit all different hobbies and sports, so I strongly encourage you to consider all options before signing up. But just know that when you sign up, it's a great experience to get out there and see what university has to offer. When you come into university, there's a very strong sense of individuality. Sometimes it feels like you're going it alone, and you're definitely going to make friends along the way, and you're going to find your footing eventually. But I think Oscar and other university clubs are a big part of that. Clubs can help facilitate friendships and help strengthen your relationship with the university. I've only been here for 1 year, but I can tell you certainly that I've embraced the university culture with open arms, and I certainly feel like I'm a part of this university. So, I hope you consider joining Oscar, even if it is just for the free stuff, and get involved in all that university has to offer outside of teaching hours. So here are a couple of events that we've hosted last year, and you can see everyone's having a good time, having a bit of fun. Memberships are only $5, and you can pay by cash or card, depending on what suits. If you want to have a chat with us today, we'll be outside, just on the Maths lawns today, until 4 p.m, and we'll be down in the hub tomorrow from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. We'll also be hosting a meet and greet in week 2, and if you're a member, I strongly encourage you to come along to that, and you can start getting to know a couple of people. We'll also be having free pizza and drinks, and icebreaker games. We've also got the first year handbook, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have been reading at the moment. We'll be handing them out over the next couple of weeks if you haven't got one, and it gives you sort of the down low, what university is really about from a student's perspective. So if you have any more questions or you're keen on signing up, I'll be around today. You can come and have a chat with me or someone else from Oscar. We've got freebies at our stall. And you can also email us or find us on Facebook. So we've got all our social media stuff there, and we can help you out. So thanks for that, and have a nice day.
Cool, thanks, Reese. I mean, it is something which, I mean, there's been a bit of a theme where people have mentioned that, it's important to do the study, but it's all the other stuff, and it's actually how you get to meet people. Because, in your pracs, in your workshops, your tutes, you'll get to meet people doing the courses you were doing. But the really cool thing about joining clubs like Oscar and other clubs is you get to meet people who are studying different stuff. And that's where your friends you make for the rest of your life, a lot of them you're going to be making in the next few years. So open yourselves up. Do something brave, and maybe don't just hang out with the people you went to high school with, okay? That's challenging. I know of someone who managed to get to 3rd year, and they're doing a prac with the same person they went to kindergarten with, okay? Break out of that. Meet lots of people, and great opportunities with clubs. Okay, now something else we're going to talk about is the Adelaide Graduate Award. So I'm going to ask Adila to come up and talk briefly about that. Thanks, Adila.
Thanks, Andrew. Hello, everyone. My name is Adila. I'm currently doing a Master of Philosophy in the Sciences, and today I'll be telling you a little bit about the Adelaide Graduate Award. So previously, before I started talking, you heard about all the different kinds of things that you could do while you're at uni. The Adelaide Graduate Award not only encourages you to involve yourself with all of that, it also helps you stand out from the crowd. So what is the Adelaide Graduate Award? It's an employability development program. It helps students develop their skills by involving themselves with extracurricular activities that are not a requirement of their degree. Participation in this program requires you to log 150 hours of volunteering work, paid work, or work experience while studying at uni. This program is currently offered to all students who are enrolled at the University of Adelaide. It's voluntary, it's free, and you can sign up at any time. However, I do recommend signing up at the start of your degree to get the most out of the award. As part of the award process, you guys get to reflect upon how these activities have contributed to your personal and professional growth, as well as how significant skills are developed. Can I just have a show of hands on who here currently has or is planning on getting a part-time job? Awesome. You guys get to develop so many skills while working part-time, and you get to log a lot of those hours towards the award. So why would you want to do this? What's in it for you? You get to build your skills, and you get to develop your employability skills and prepare yourself for the workforce or industry. You get to build your resume, communicate these skills effectively to your employer, and demonstrate them productively in the workplace. The Adelaide Graduate Award is a structured program, but it is flexible, so you guys get to choose what kind of activities you want to do according to your personal interests and goals. After participating in the program myself last year, I got to reflect upon the many different activities that were recommended to me by the award and gain so many skills that I never thought I could. Some of the activities that I did were doing the Faculty of Science peer mentoring program, helping out at the Adelaide Uni Space Society, and doing the summer scholarship at the University of Adelaide. You also get formal recognition from the university through a printed statement on your academic transcript after you finish your degree. So I haven't gone into much detail about how you can complete the Adelaide Graduate Award, but you can find out from the website listed here. There will also be a student panel discussion coming up very soon where, if you're interested, you can come along, ask questions about how the award works and what kind of activities you can log into the award. I also want to quickly say that even if you don't complete the award, that's okay. There's no penalty or consequence towards that. Like I said earlier, it's free, it's voluntary, and you get to choose the kind of thing that you want to do that fits your timetable or schedule or your own pace. If you're interested in seeing how it goes, you can get a head start by Googling Career Hub Adelaide, clicking on the link, and you can just sign in using your student credentials. That's all from me. Thank you, everyone, and I wish you all the best in your studies.
Cool. Thanks, Adila. I mean, it is something that's really neat because you find even people when they do their degree, they don't realise the skills they've actually got. And sometimes maybe we don't articulate that well enough. So the Adelaide Graduate's a really good graduate award. It's a really good way for you first to go, oh my God, I'm actually getting these skills doing these other activities. But then you actually get some formal recognition that will actually be sort of easily identified. Now, I'm going to get two current students who are Claudia and Sabrina going to come up, and I'm going to ask them some questions. I'm going to make you stand. Okay. Okay. Now, I have a few questions. Well, first of all, what are you studying and what do you hope to do after you've finished?
So my name's Claudia. Is the microphone working? I can't
Yep.
hear it. Okay, cool. It has like no feedback. My name's Claudia. I'm doing science and law, and I'm hoping in majoring in chemistry and genetics in science.
Hi everybody. Last year I finished studying Bachelor of Science in Experimental and Theoretical Physics, and this year I liked it so much from last year that I decided I'd do honours.
And what are you hoping to do when
And
you
hoping to do beyond that, I really enjoy the research aspect, so I'm hoping to continue a career in research.
How about you, Claudia? What do you?
Oh, I'm not sure yet. I've got absolutely no idea, so that's totally fine as well, I think.
No, that is a fair look. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do. I'll figure it out eventually. Okay, now, how did you guys find your first year studying science?
Well, it was only last year for me. I'm only in second year, so I remember it quite vividly. First year was so much fun. You're in such a different environment to high school, and there's so many opportunities that you can make the most of in first year if you just kind of put yourself out there. We'll talk about it later, but I got involved in a few clubs and heaps of different social activities, and I just found that like it broadened my perspective on university life so much. So yeah, it was just so much fun is essentially what I took out of it, yeah.
Yeah, similar to how Claudia said, I found it first year really exciting. It was a great opportunity to see where your degree can take you. So not only be part in do your formal study, but also to look at the other services available at the university and to see how you can build yourself personally and professionally from there, so that by the time you graduate, you know what employment you're seeking.
So with the services, are there any other support services that you used?
So there were quite a few services that I tapped into that are available at the university. Studying physics, there was a lot of maths that we had to do in first year. So there is the Maths Help Centre in the hub. There is also a Maths First Year Help. And if, for example, you're doing other sciences, there is also, for example, a writing centre as well to help with the writing skills. There is also the Science Services Hub in the Darling Building, as mentioned earlier. They can help you in answering any questions you've got related to your degree or study. And something else that I found really, really useful was the career services. They're really great because they have lots of opportunities and workshops that you can book into on Career Hub. And from there, you can go to workshops that help you write your resume, that help you build your employability skills. And also you can use the career services to book a one-on-one appointment with a career services advisor that will help you orientate you to find where you want to go in the future with your degree. They provide you a lot of information as to the possibilities of employment with your degree and give you lots of websites and avenues to research down to find what you can do with your degree upon graduating.
So whilst you're sitting here, it's really easy to kind of think about all this career stuff and the general, like, building your life up from university. But what I found is that I sat here and went, oh, yeah, cool, that sounds good. I'm going to keep thinking about all that. But when you get into week 4 of university and you've got a test the next day and you're like, oh, my gosh, I just don't know how to do any of this, thinking about your career is not really going to help. So what I found the most useful thing in that regard is all the drop-in centres in the hub. So for most of the first-year science subjects, they have drop-in centres that your tutors or your lecturers will sit there for an hour or so, once a week or twice a week, and you can just go and ask them any questions that you have about your subject. It was a lot more like in high school, where you could just go up to your teacher at the end of the lesson and kind of ask them a question. That's kind of what the drop-in centres felt like to me. They were really, really useful. And another point to make about the drop-in centres is they're not just for people that are really struggling. It's not like you have to be like failing to go to them. Even if you're doing really well, you can go to the drop-in centres and they'll help you do even better. The people that run them are really, really nice. And literally, it's so useful. But even if you're last minute, like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do this, you can go there and they'll really help you out.
Another aspect as well, similar to that, is take the opportunity to ask your lecturers as well any questions that you have. You may find that initially that you may not find them initially approachable. You might find it a bit intimidating to put your hand up during a lecture to ask questions. But take the opportunity to come down the front at the end of the lecture and speak to your lecturer. They're more than happy to take the time to answer your questions. And I mean, even if they don't have the time, you can always make an appointment to come see them at another time when you're free. And that's a great opportunity to have that one-on-one help to address the things you didn't understand, and that way you don't get behind in your study.
Cool. Yeah, the drop-in centre is also a good place to find other people studying the same course, so you can sort of sit together and often work things out. What about peer mentoring? How did you... Okay,
so me and Sabrina are helping to run the peer mentor program this year, so we can do our little spiel now. So you're all in first year, so you're all going to be part of the peer mentoring program. Essentially what it is that next Friday you're all going to be put into groups, and you're going to be allocated a group of about 15-ish of first-year students and 2 peer mentors that are in second year or above studying a degree similar to yours. And then you're going to be given the opportunity to meet up with them once a week for about 4 or 5 weeks, and they're going to impart any advice that they have onto you and just give you a sense of belonging within your degree. So you're going to get more information about that as you start. But
yeah, make sure you do take part in the program, because it is a great opportunity to help you see what services are available at the university, and it will be a good summary of what we've gone through today, that everyone has sort of talked about in terms of the services available at the university. It is sort of like a casual sort of social meeting as well, so it's just to have a bit of fun, to get to know other students as well, and just to start building your friendships and to get settled in the university environment. So you will have 2 peer mentors within your groups, and they'll be current students at the university who will help guide you within the first few weeks to help be settled into university. So if you've got any questions about anything, make sure you do ask them as well, because they're here to help you, and they can orientate you in the right direction if they're not too sure how to answer your question.
And check your emails, please. Please, we communicate to you via your emails, so please check your emails. All the important information about peer mentoring will be on your emails.
Everyone communicates via email. Please check it.
On your phone, then it gets notifications. Just do it. It's so much better.
True. That's so true. One thing too is we know that, if you find people to study with, people to hang out with, your chances of succeeding going really well get better and better. If you try and do everything by yourself, it can be really challenging. Now, are there any other opportunities science students, there's other stuff you can do. So is there anything in particular you guys took advantage of, other stuff while you were here?
I joined the ski club and went on the ski trip. So we went to Hotham for a week. It was so much fun. If you're into skiing, highly recommend doing that. It was a lot of fun. And there's a few other clubs that I joined, but I found that was a really good way to meet people outside the university that go on the trip and people doing other degrees. So yeah, join the clubs, wander around. It was so much fun. So I would highly recommend doing social activities like that.
Yeah, take any opportunity you get, and as was mentioned, make sure you do check your email, because you do get a lot of these opportunities sent to you via email. Some things that I did was at the start of second year, I took part in an internship during the summer holidays with a defence company, and that's sort of a great way to sort of see what employability could be like. You get to meet other people, work with other employees at a company as well, and it's a great way to build your networks and get to know other people and to sort of explore career fields going forward. One other great opportunity that I took part of at the university was a Women Leaders in STEM Careers program, which is a great opportunity for female students studying science, engineering, maths, to take part and build your personal and professional skills as well.
Cool. Okay, before you go, one bit of advice each that you would give to a first-year student.
Be proactive at university, kind of like what Sabrina was saying. I got to do some work experience last year with a researcher, simply because I was proactive and emailed people. And if anyone's thinking of doing any sort of work experience or internship or stuff, come and speak to us after. I'm happy to give advice about that. But it was just simply because I was proactive. There's a lot of stuff that the university can offer you, but a lot of it you have to take yourself. And so being proactive and asking for advice is definitely the biggest tip. You can get a lot out of uni if you try.
Yeah, in a similar manner, I agree with Claudia with what she's saying with that. It is really up to you as to where you take your study and the opportunities that you take as well. And the more people you get to meet at university and the more opportunities that you take up that come available, the better off you'll be. It will help you with your study as well. It'll make you a better, well-rounded person. So any opportunity that comes about, explore it, and certainly don't hesitate to take that opportunity.
Cool. Thanks, Claudia. Thanks, Sabrina. Okay, now, we're probably overloading with information. One thing I will say is we actually are recording this, and we'll tell you guys where you can find it. Really briefly, and this is where some of this you might think, oh, I don't need to worry about it, but look, life happens, and sometimes basically things don't quite go to plan. So there are a whole lot of services available, and I've just got some listed there: counselling, support. That can be really handy when there could be a whole lot of things going on, could be involved with uni, could be outside. Disability support. Now this can be for if you have an ongoing disability. Go see those people. There's lots of really neat things they can do where they can actually help you. They can provide letters, and those letters don't give any information, but they enable you to present them to the course coordinator, the lecturer, and it will basically just say, look, this person needs extra time for certain assignments, might need special conditions, okay? Doesn't tell us the reason why, so it's a really good confidential way. That way you don't have to go around and explain to everyone the reason why you might need an extension or why you can't sit down in a lecture for a long time, you've got to get up and walk. So please go see them. Also, if you accidentally break a leg or something like that, and it's a short-term disability, again, go see them. Or it might be if you're having an operation. I know one guy having an operation on his hand, wasn't going to be able to write. You know, go see the disability support, and they can really help put a lot of things in place. International student support. I mean, you've got the fact that international students, you've got the cultural shock of trying to understand my accent. You'll also have the fact too that you don't have that same sort of family support that a lot of Adelaide-based students will have. So definitely there's a lot of support services. Elite athlete supports, that's actually really handy if you are an elite athlete and, for instance, there's competitions that you need to go to and they clash with assessment tasks, we can work around it. So there's a lot of things there. Health and well-being. Again, it might be something that at this stage everyone's like, woo, it's cool, oh week. And, you know, just keep in mind things can go wrong. And also there's the Safer Campus community, which we put a lot of effort in trying to make this a safe campus. Now, the thing is that you might think, oh my God, my head's going to explode. The only thing, if you're going to remember anything, is go to the Science Services Hub, okay? And if you weren't sure, you know how there's the steps which go up, 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 those red steps? When you're walking up there, if you're really unfit and you get to a place where you have a break and there's a big open circle, just look across and you'll see the Science Services Hub there. So go there if in doubt. Now, we had basically Claudia and Sabrina briefly mention some of the support services, and we've touched upon these. We've got the academic drop-ins, and they'll have ones, physics, chemistry, biology, all have these academic drop-in centres you can go to if you're having problems with the course, preparation for your pracs, your workshops, before tests, before exams. We've got PASS, which is the peer-assisted study sessions, and they're run by people who usually have just done the course. And they're run separate, they're actually student-run, and they're a really good opportunity to actually get extra support. We've already heard about from the Maths Learning Centre. Now, I just want to emphasise the Maths Learning Centre, that can be from, you know, and you'll get people who are third year trying to get HD in a hardcore maths courses. You've got people who might be doing some course where they need to do some maths and they go, crap, trigonometry, I didn't really learn it the first time, okay? So that's the full breadth. Go see them. Really, really helpful people. If you go there and you sit down in the area, someone will eventually come up to you and ask, do you need a hand? And as I said, all the drop-in centres, they're a really good place to go if you go, oh, okay, I got this assessment task due. You go there, you sit there, and you might find other people also doing the same course, and that's a good way to sort of get some extra help. Studiosity, that's an online support which is 24 hours. You can sort of enter in questions and you can get some response. So that's if it's, 4 o'clock in the morning. There is places where you can get help, or in a lot of courses we've got discussion boards. So you might actually find fellow students also awake at 4 o'clock in the morning. And lastly, career services. I know we have talked about careers a lot, and you might think, my God, I've got to do my degree first. But it's actually preparing you, being aware of what you're potentially going to do, what skills you're going to get. So that's where the career services is something really valuable to actually check out. And you can find them, they're just near the hub. Okay, now that's a picture of the Science Services Hub. Okay, so if you walk there, that's like the big circle, big round red circle up the steps. So there's an enrolment drop-in service, okay? I know most of you guys enroll online yourselves. If there's any issues or if you're not sure about anything, please go see them. So there's a drop-in, but you can go anytime, okay? You can go anytime and ask some questions, but they've got a drop-in service today from 1:30 to 3 p.m. If you've got any enrolment questions, you want to double-check if you're enrolled correctly. It can be confusing when, you've got certain courses you should have, ideally you need to have done at year 12. Am I doing the right things? And it's much better. And personally, I would rather sit there and spend 30 minutes with you now talking about stuff and going, okay, good, that's sorted. Then you come to me at the end of semester 1 or at the end of the year and we go, oh, crap, oh, damn it, you should have done these courses, okay? Much better. I'd rather spend time with you now to make sure you got it right. It saves you a year, potentially, and it saves a lot of heartache on both our behalf. So please, if you're not sure, ask, and that's where you can get your enrolment and student support questions answered. Okay, now I'm going to ask all the people who've spoken, all the panel, to come up here, and if anyone has a question, if not, I'm going to start asking them questions. So here you go, you can share microphones. Okay. So, anyone have a question? You can hold that. Okay, now I'm going to ask them a question, and then while I'm doing it, I'm going to put the microphone in this so I can start throwing it around at people. Okay, okay. Have any of you had a timetable clash? Wait, who here has a timetable clash already? Far out. Okay, well, how do you resolve it? Who knows how to resolve it? Okay, so you want them to explain how to resolve it. Go, guys.
Yep. So I had a timetable clash in my first semester because I was doing French as well as a language. And I find some of you might have found this already, but to get timetable clashes sorted, you head straight to the Science Services Hub. The science faculty is a bit funny like that, where they want to sort out everything. All the other faculties have other methods that you use, but the science is straight to the Science Services Hub. Sorry, I forgot the name for a second. But yeah, so it might look a bit daunting to have that clash, and you're like, oh no, what's going to happen? But since most lectures are recorded, if you're proactive and making sure that you're not falling behind, it's generally pretty good, I think.
There we go. Actually, the other thing I'll add is sometimes you might go, oh crap, I got a clash. Oh, I could have made that class, but it's full. Sometimes we can sort of just squeeze open the class and push you in, okay? So if we would much rather do that than have you sort of miss stuff, because that's a really important thing. Okay, now I want to throw this at someone. Anyone got a question? No one wants a microphone thrown at them? I'm going to keep asking them questions till you guys come up with something. Okay. Ooh, is it important to check your student email?
Yeah, I already said that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
okay.
The other thing I think is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure in the student charter that you all might have just clicked, yes, I accept. One of the requirements is you are meant to be checking your email, I think. I'm pretty sure it's in there. If not, I'm wrong.
Have you actually read it? That's
yeah,
impressive.
That's a good point. A lot of people don't, but yes, it is very important. I get maybe, no, not that many emails, but I get a couple important ones, and it's always useful.
Any question? Or any of the staff here got a question? That would be the challenge. I might have to kick the microphone up there. Oh, I knew you'd do it, Karen. Okay. Right, there's someone walking down the stairs. Actually, Karen, stop there.
Who am I asking? These guys. Oh, okay. Why is it so hard to get students to ask questions in lectures?
It can be pretty intimidating, asking questions in lectures. So if you, I sometimes find it easier just to email my lecturer and organise a time to drop into their office. They're normally willing to do that if you need to talk to them.
I mean, there's a policy that I go by at least, which is there are no stupid questions. So ask away, and if you're 100% incorrect, they'll tell you, but you just move on. It's really not that big of a deal, I don't think. I understand that you guys are probably a bit nervous. Some people maybe haven't had a coffee yet, so that might be a factor. But, yeah.
Would it help if I gave them boxes of Smarties every time they asked a question?
Oh, big time, yeah. Everyone loves free food. So.
But actually, yeah, one of my classes, they gave out like a chocolate if you answered a question, and it worked. Yeah, it's a bit sad, isn't it? But it worked.
All right, I'm in.
Up the back. Give it a good throw.
Okay, it's coming up to exams. You're sick, or there's something happened in your personal life and you can't sit your exam. What do you do?
That's a good question. So, the first thing I would do is ask myself, am I sick? So, the university is a bit of a hard ass in terms of you will sit your exam unless you are dying. You know, if you have a broken foot, doesn't matter, you'll sit the exam. If you have a bit of a... Yeah, sorry, yeah, true. No, that is a good point. No, if generally, if you've just got like a bit of a cough, unless it is affecting your ability to study or to sit an exam, it's fine. But the first question is, ask yourself, are you really, really sick? Can it be an issue that you can resolve by the exam? Otherwise, there is a form that you can fill out online. I think it's 24 to 48 hours before or after the exam. Don't quote me on that. But pretty much get in contact with the faculty is the first point of call. And they'll be able to help you out from there. There are always supplementary and replacement exams.
No, just look on the university website and then contact the faculty and the Science Services Hub, and they'll clear up any clarification. That goes for anything. If you're sick with anything, or if you have a question about assessment, like stuff, yeah, check the university website and then just email the faculty. You're not emailing a scary person. You're just emailing someone sitting there on a computer trying to solve your problem for you. So don't be nervous to email.
Good one. Sorry. This is actually sort of following up from that. Like, if it's not an exam and it is just a regular uni week with pracs and lectures and that, if you find you can't come for whatever reason, is it just a case of following up with all the lecturers and the teachers to catch up, or...?
Yeah, I actually had a lot this semester, had a few things going on at home, so I got a lot of extensions for a lot of my assignments, and most of the lecturers are really understanding, and the faculty was really understanding. I just let them know my situation. So every time I needed an extension, they were really understanding. And also, I remember I was a bit late. I was on holiday, so I was a bit late to the semester. Missed the first 2 weeks, so I missed some labs, and they let me make them up, and it was just quite easy, actually, just to organise replacement labs. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'd just say, like, as with anything official, like you guys would have had the same at school. If you are sick, just get a medical certificate. If you go to the doctor to get medication, because that's what the uni will need for like a first year regular lab. You'll need a medical certificate or some proof. So just do that.
The other thing is, if you're concerned about tutorials and other workshops and other stuff like that, generally there's more than one tutorial session per week. So it's possible to see, if you're sick on just one day, maybe you can rock up to another day, but otherwise just let the university know. That's always the first point of call. Yeah.
That's actually really cool. If you miss something, like a workshop or stuff like that, you know, a lot of I know physics I'll speak earlier about confidence. You can go to another workshop for it. Okay, that's fine. With your pracs, if you miss a prac, you can go to another prac. Also, the pracs are compulsory in some of the courses, so we have catch-up sessions. Okay, so we give you lots of opportunities. And for instance, if you wake up, you're feeling crap, and you're like, oh, it's all kind of hard.
I have a question. Public holidays, do we have to make arrangements to attend things on other days? So obviously week 2 is the start of a public holiday with Adelaide Cup.
It's a good question. No, the answer is no, because the university will be closed on public holidays. So
yeah, but the classes that we have at that time, do we need to?
No.
They'll work it out for you. You don't have to worry about it. It'll happen.
Yeah, generally they plan ahead, hopefully, for the public holidays and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't plan to be here either, so.
So say if you have a group assignment and someone's not pulling their weight, is that going to affect your grade, or is there different ways around that?
It depends what course you're doing. I was doing a Bachelor of Science Advanced, so I had group work for some of my subjects. And if they're not pulling the weight and you feel it's a serious concern, it's something to speak with your course coordinators or your kind of advisors about. But it depends on the assessment, really. It's a case-by-case basis. Generally, if you feel that you're putting honest work in and you feel that there's some sort of, like you're not happy with the grade you got or some concern, as Ben mentioned before, you can take it up with the student care support and they can help you through that process. Or alternatively, you can go straight to your kind of lecturers and teachers, and they might also be able to resolve it if it's a serious concern. But the best thing to do, if you feel like you're in a group presentation and someone's not pulling their weight, is to speak to that person first and foremost, because you don't know what they're going through, and it could be something serious.
Yeah, that is, I mean, every situation is different depending how the course is running their group stuff. So I know in some courses they'll have like this sort of sign of contract, you know, our group will behave this way. Otherwise, we actually give you a chance to provide peer feedback, so that's where you confidentially say how did everyone work as a group, and we will sometimes factor that in. So I know there's cases where I myself have gone, everyone in the group's gone, that person did nothing, and they get nothing. Okay, and if one person had to drag the entire group through, they'll then get boosted a little bit. So we do take that into account. But the main thing is communicating. Okay, first with the people in your group, sometimes that may not go to plan, and secondly with us. That's probably the thing I would say. Okay, time for one more question. Yep. Okay. Oh, yeah, good. Okay, so just roll all the way. Everyone, watch the microphone.
Okay, now obviously a lot of people put their hands up and said they've got like part-time jobs and whatever. So what is the workload like for first-year students, and how much homework and commitment should we give our studies if we want to do reasonably well in first year? Like, what's your advice?
It's up to you, and it depends what subjects you're taking and how easy or difficult you find them. I think it's a broad question. And it depends on what time of the semester as well, if you have tests or important pracs coming up. But yeah, it's a hard question to answer. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's something you can work out as you go through your first year.
I think, yeah, everyone's going to take it a different way. I can tell you, like, I've met a lot of different people last year during first year. Some people would put very little effort into everything they did. I knew someone who wrote a 5,000-word essay in 8 hours. So, you know, if you're willing to put yourself
sounds like
through
a lot of
that,
effort to me.
Yeah, it's,
in a weird way.
I don't understand how he did well, but, you know, some people will put themselves through that. Some people will prepare themselves, and that's just how they do it. So it's a very much an individual sort of thing. But just be prepared, I think, is probably the best advice there. Is you know how you work and how you're going to get things done, so prepare for yourself to...
I want to make sure. That actually is a really good question. Because the dilemma is you might look at your timetable and go, oh, awesome, I got 10 hours, I need to be here. We assume, and this might sound over the top, but we assume that effectively this is like a full-time job, okay? So basically 40 hours a week is what you should be doing if you're doing 4 courses. Now that includes your contact hours and stuff outside. And you might go, oh, that sounds a bit insane. Look, there are people who won't do that much and will go okay, but we know if you do put in that time, you will actually go really well. And this is the challenging thing, it is effectively a full-time job. If you're studying here, 100% a student, like you got a full-time load, it is a full-time job. And the other thing too, which you often get some people have to work, and I appreciate that and I understand it because, you've got no other sense of income. But the thing is that if you don't need, if you're basically working so you can save up and buy a Porsche, my God, you're weird. Okay, but if you're doing that, then you sort of think, why am I wasting time at uni? Okay, you want to go as well because not only does it give you good grades, it prepares you for the future years. Okay, now I've been given the wrap up, so I'd like to thank our panel. So thank you very much, guys. Okay, so if you forget everything, the only thing is if you're not sure, go to the Science Service Hub and ask any questions, and it's in the Darling building. Now, what happens now? We're going to sort of break you up and you're going to go off into different areas. If you're in the Bachelor of Science or the Bachelor of Science and Entrepreneurship, you stay here, okay? Now, if you're in the Bachelor of Science Advanced, up there, Phil is holding a green board, okay? Phil will keep holding it the entire way to the Sprig room. Now, you have to, I've said that now. Follow him. And that basically, it's in the Mawson building, which you'll be going out and going around there. So BSc Advanced, hang on, wait, don't move yet. I've got to tell everyone where they're going. Now, this is if you're in the named degree, which is Biomedical Science, Biotechnology, Marine Biology, Wildlife Conservation Biology. You'll be following, who's got the blue? Okay, at the back there's 2 people with blue boards. Follow them, and they will also be going to the Mawson building, but a different part in the Mawson building. So make sure you're following the right group. Okay, we're almost done. Now, Mineral Geoscience and Ecotourism, you'll be following Karen, who's got the red board. Okay, she will hold it up the entire way too. Lastly, we've got the 2 physicsy named degrees. So this is Space Science and Astro and High Performance Computational Physics. And if you look there, there's Bruce with a yellow board. You'll be following Bruce and you'll be going all the way to the physics building. So you're either staying here, you're either going to the Mawson. The challenging one, not because you're physicists, okay, the challenging one will be physics because that's over the other side of the campus. So make sure you're following Bruce. So everyone, all of the people with boards will sort of wait a little bit outside. Once everyone's with them, then you go. Now, are there any animal science or vet bio people? You stay here as well. Okay, cool. Everyone know what they're doing? In that case, thank you very much for your time and have an awesome time.
To this point in time. So what I'm going to do is actually try and give you a little bit more information into your brains, if you can cope with that. Sorry, let me just... So my name's Amanda, and I'm a professor in plant science. I teach on this campus. I also teach on the Waite campus, which is roughly 8 kilometres in that direction, and sometimes I teach out at Roseworthy campus, which is about 50 kilometres in that direction. You might ask, why are there pictures of capsicums up there? Why are there pictures of, oh, what is that? It's a barley leaf, which has got a disease. And then there's a little picture of something that's been drawn on the board. The reason that's there is because that's why I'm a scientist, because I like to solve problems. And I'd hope that that's why most of you guys are here, is it's like, oh wow, I'm going to be able to make an impact. So for me, being a scientist is all about the fact that, well, I'm trying to solve capsicum ripening and why your green capsicum, if you pick it green, won't turn red, so that we can help the growers, less pesticides, all those sorts of things. So for me, that's my sort of goal in life. The other little graphic that I've got there, which is the career, education, goals, values, is the other reason I'm standing here in front of you guys is because I like to teach and I'm interested in what makes you guys tick, what makes you get to where you want to be in life, what makes you get to your particular career. And sometimes in this stage of life, and you know what, any stage of life, you can go, I've actually got no idea what I really want to do. But if you grasp that idea of science, and science being about innovation and being about problem solving, then you're in the right place, most definitely. You're going to have a lot of fun, and curiosity is key to success. So my role at the moment is I'm program coordinator or interim program coordinator for the Bachelor of Science, but I'm also responsible for overseeing all of the learning and teaching that happens in the faculty. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, I'm going the wrong direction here. This is what happens when you get handed a device that you've never used before previously. I'll just go. Okay, so there's a couple of other people I'd like to introduce. If I could get these three to stand up, please. We have Natalie. So if you're doing chemistry, you'll get to know Natalie well. She's first year director for chemistry. You already have been listening to Andrew, so you've already got some idea of who Andrew is in terms of physics. And then we have Grant Booker, who is responsible for biology. Now, Karen is not here because she was actually the lady with the red clipboard who ran off with the mineral geoscience students, but she's responsible for first year geology. She was the lady who asked the really good question about why you guys weren't asking questions. Okay? So that was Karen. So these four individuals here are the people that you're going to see a lot of in first year, depending upon which courses you choose. Thank you very much. Okay, so I think hopefully most of you have chosen science, and as I said before, and I'm not going to actually dwell on this too long because I know that Andrew touched on some of this earlier, is that, you know, science is pretty important, so you're in the right place. Being in this room means that you are going to contribute to the future of the economy here in Australia and also worldwide. You're going to make a difference in particular. And so in terms of our exports, in terms of just anything, it could be biomedical science, it could be the space agency. There's a lot of different things that are happening, and I'm not going to dwell on those things because I know that Andrew has commented on some of that already. But the really important thing here is 10% of all of Australian employment is directly related to science in some way. So you may not in your minds necessarily have a very clear idea at this point in time about exactly where you want to go or where you want to end up, but now you can start that journey of starting to think about a career and where it's going to take you, because you're starting to learn what you need to know to get you into that particular career. So this is the beginning of that journey for you guys. And I'm going to keep coming back to that word journey as we move through the presentation. Now, I know that Andrew briefly put up this slide about the employability skills. These are the things you need. Now you might go, okay, I'm coming to uni to learn stuff, to learn knowledge. But it's not just about knowledge. It's also about all of those other skills that the people out there in the real world, in the workforce, are looking for from you. They're going to be looking for the fact that you can critically think about things. They're going to be looking for the fact that you can solve problems, and I've said that before. That's why I'm a scientist, because I like to solve problems, I like to figure things out and be creative in providing innovative solutions. It's also really important that interpersonal skills. We had the question before about groups. Well, we're going to teach you about how to work in groups, hopefully effectively, in terms of those interpersonal skills. But they're all things that you can develop along the way in your degree. Now, we do some of that in the courses, but the other place where that happens is also in all of the other stuff that's about uni. So uni is not just about your courses, and yes, we want you guys to get really good grades. We're here to help you guys out and achieve that. But we also want you to feel part of a wider community. And you are. You're part of the University of Adelaide. You're part of the Faculty of Sciences. You're part of the Bachelor of Science. And I know we've got a couple of other degrees that are sitting in here today too. Like I heard there were some vet students and some animal science students and an applied biology student somewhere as well. But you belong to a cohort. However, you can value add to your experience here at university by doing things like the internships. So there are internships courses available in second year and third year. You can also do study abroad. You can go overseas and do an exchange or enrol in a short-term program as well. So there are lots of different opportunities, and I would also encourage you to join some of the clubs that are around. So the OSCAR, as we call it, which is the science club in particular, might be one that you might want to consider joining. Get to know all of the other people in your cohort in particular. So when I say we just want to successfully guide you, who is we? Well, you've met some of these people today. So we have a whole bunch of people who are lecturers, so your teaching staff, who are going to be teaching you in classes. You've got course coordinators. You've also got all of the professional staff and the Sciences Services Hub, for example. But we are actually all spread across 4 different schools. So we have Ag, Food and Wine, which is at the Waite campus. We've got Animal and Veterinary Science, which is out at Roseworthy. And then here on this campus, we've got Biological Sciences and Physical Sciences. So you've got these, school is kind of where a lot of these staff sit. And also, when you come to start thinking about electives, and we'll talk about the journey with regards to electives soon, you've got courses that you can choose mostly on North Terrace, but you do have the occasional ones at Waite and Roseworthy that you can also consider. So really what I want to do with the rest of today is give you the good advice, okay, what are the things you really need to know? And this is about your journey. So you remember I said you're starting your particular journey, and I've actually asked Molly along here today, who is a previous sciences student, who's going to help us learn or tell us a little bit about her journey and what it meant for her. So over to you, Molly. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Molly. I'm currently doing honours in chemistry, and I finished my Bachelor of Science last year. So basically, enrolling in a Bachelor of Science is probably the best thing you'll do if you don't know what you want to do. When I finished Year 12, I knew that I loved science, but I had no idea where it would take me, and doing a BSc really helped me figure it out. So the best thing about doing a BSc is that basically you're not locked into a 3-year study plan as such, which can be really daunting, but you can pick your subjects as you go semester by semester. So it's really choose your own adventure. So basically in my first year I did every single science. So I did biology and chemistry, which I did in Year 12, and then I did physics and stats. Much to my surprise, I actually really enjoyed physics and stats. I didn't think I would. Thank you, Andrew. But I kept with biology and chemistry because those were the 2 that I really loved and was best at. So second year, I enrolled myself into biochemistry, microbiology, and chemistry. And I told myself at the beginning of second year that I would probably be doing a biochemistry major with a microbiology minor. And again, much to my surprise, I actually wasn't really good at those subjects, and I was a lot better at chemistry. So by third year, I was doing all chemistry courses and ended up finishing actually with a double chemistry major. So you can really surprise yourself with a Bachelor of Science and where you actually find yourself at the end of the 3-year program. The other great thing about the Bachelor of Science is that you can actually do 30 units of first year subjects. So that's 10 subjects instead of your first year 8. So if you get to second year and decide, oh my God, I actually really want to do a geology major or a physics major, and you haven't done the prerequisites in first year, you can go back and you can revisit those first year subjects, which is great if you want to keep your options open. Another good thing about doing the Bachelor of Science is that you can actually do other subjects that aren't science. So I know people who've done creative writing subjects, I know people who've done history subjects, I even did a Spanish course in one of my semesters. As fantastic as science is, sometimes you do want a break so you can do all those different sorts of subjects. If you do know what major you want to do, that's great. And I would highly suggest at the end of your first year doing a research placement in the summer holidays. I really wish that I did one of those. Basically what that is a 6-week placement, and you're put into one of the research labs here and you're basically working with one of the professors and getting a real feel for what it's like to be in research. So that would be a really great thing to do at the end of first or second year.
That's a summer scholarship.
Summer scholarship, that's it, sorry. Another thing you can do is you can go overseas as well. Doing a Bachelor of Science is actually really good for going overseas because, you know, one would like to think that science is the same in every country. So it's really easy to find a place to go, because I know with a few of those niche degrees you can only choose between a select few countries to go to, except you can go to all sorts of places doing science. I went to Texas A&M University in my second semester of second year and it was fantastic, so I'd highly recommend doing one of those. Another great thing with science is that you'll be doing quite a few pracs. So that's a really great way to meet new people, and most of the people sitting around you in the room right now will soon be some of your best friends. I have really, really great friends in my honours cohort at the moment, and I remember my first year, they were always the sort of people that I'd see and be like, oh, I kind of know that person, but we haven't really spoken, so it's best to just rip the Band-Aid off and just do the awkward introductions, because everyone's feeling awkward right now, so everyone just gets to know each other and it'll be a lot better. Meeting new people at uni is probably the best thing you can do, not only for your social life but also for your grades, because I do know that studying in groups is a lot better than studying by yourself. It makes you enjoy uni so much more and it really helps with your grades. One more thing, I hope you've all enrolled for your subjects, and if you haven't, please do so soon. But you would have noticed that you've got a mentoring course coming up. Please go to those. They're really good and they're really helpful. Your mentors will be second or third year or even postgrad students, and they'd be really good for just showing you around campus, getting to know everything, and just asking questions in general. And so if you're doing mentoring or if you're doing chemistry, I look forward to meeting you. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Molly. That was a really big shout out to the peer mentors who are all actually up the back of the room at the moment. Thank you very much, Molly. That was quite a good set of advice for everyone. We're going to start thinking about your journey now. So that was really good, some of the things that Molly brought out, particularly in terms of interacting with everyone else around you. Make the effort, it's important. But we're always going to come back to our theme of help a little bit too. But I want to ask you guys now why you're here. I want you to be sort of thinking about, okay, I'm here because I'm actually interested in science. I loved science at school, whatever it might be. Maybe you didn't get into your first choice, so you decided to do science as a stepping stone to your next choice. Maybe you're sort of aware that maybe you'll get a really good job from it. Or maybe you're not really sure. And I think that was one of the things that came out of what Molly said in particular, was that it's okay if you don't actually really know. First year for you guys is really all about, sorry, I've done it again. And I don't know how to go backwards with this thing. Sorry. Is really all about knowing backwards. That's forwards. It's all right. I'm just going to go backwards. Sorry. Really, that idea of help is really important. So regardless of what brings you here, then the bottom line is we're all here to succeed you, to help you succeed in your studies. And so when you think about your studies, Andrew already alluded to the fact that you kind of think of it like a full-time job. My little piece of advice is usually you sort of make sure you've allocated up to 6 hours, thereabouts, outside of your normal contact time. That's so that you've got time to do your assignments, you've got time to reread things, watch the lectures, and think about what your learning is. In some courses, you'll be even asked to maybe read some material or look at some videos online before you go into the classroom and have the lecture. So it's really important to sort of just be aware of what you need to do. So time management is one of those skills that you're also going to learn, hopefully, during university. Now, the course outline will give you all of the due dates, but you should always check and talk with your course coordinator about those things. And time management comes up again because often you might have more than one assignment in a week. So you have to make sure that you manage your time well. But the really important thing is if you run into issues, if you're not sure, don't guess, ask. So, the first year directors here, if you have a question, you're in Biology 1 and you go, I've got no idea what I'm supposed to do with this lecture test, go and talk to Grant. Or, that's what it's all about. These guys are here to help you. You've also got course coordinators in any of your other courses as well, your lecturers. We don't bite, we're actually pretty friendly, most of us, I think we are at least. And also the faculty office is also really important in helping out, and all of the other services that Andrew's already mentioned. You also have a bunch of services out in those school offices that I mentioned before. So they might be able to provide you with things like course-specific information about submitting assignments. So there's a couple of students here that I think were from the Roseworthy-based degrees. That's particularly important for you guys, that you get to know your school office in particular. They might be able to give you advice in different things around scholarships, awards, prizes, and, once you get further on in your degree in relation to postgraduate and other research, and things like those summer scholarships that Molly talked about before, which are available. Quite often the schools help to provide those. So there is all of that help. Now, I know that Andrew mentioned emails, or there was that discussion at the end with the questions about how important student email is. I'm just going to re-emphasise that, but I'm also going to re-emphasise that you should be making sure that you go onto My Uni. This is my Uni, this is what mine looks like. I have courses too, except I'm teaching them. So you should be logging into My Uni. Sometimes your lecturers will also call it Canvas. Make sure you log in there. Sometimes your lecturers will use this as its main vehicle for announcements. So make sure your notifications for announcements are on in My Uni so that you get those, because they come to your student email address, and all of our communication will be through your student email. So make sure you're checking that regularly, okay? Use that resource. The other thing that will happen in some of your courses is that there is something called Echo 360, which sits within the course. Some of your courses will be using that in the classroom, so make sure that you've signed up to it before you start classes next week as well. That sits within each individual course. So I know that Andrew's already covered off on the critical dates, but just to clarify for you guys, because of the fact that the Bachelor of Science can be complex, and we're going to have a look at a journey and the way you might look at that journey in a moment, just keep these dates in mind. So the 31st of March is census date. So that's the date, is the last day for you to be able to withdraw, and your GPA is not affected. If you withdraw after that and you choose to do it before the 10th of May, then you can have a withdrawal no fail with good cause, and your GPA is not affected, but it might course costs might be there. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're not sure, always ask the faculty office, okay? Very important to do that. So if you're making a decision to drop a course or add a course or do something like that and you're not sure, make sure you try and do it before 31st of March, Okay, that's the really essential date. If you were looking at that slide and going, what the hell's GPA? What does she mean by GPA? I'm talking about your grade point average. So when you go through your courses, each of your courses, if you get less than 50%, then obviously that's a fail, or we call it an F, which is equal to 1.5 grade point average points. Pass is 50 to 64, a credit is 65 to 74, a distinction is 75 to 84, and a HD is more than 85. I'm sure all of you will be up that end where there's distinctions and HDs, so you won't have to worry about anything down this end. One of the reasons why I bring up this little bit about the GPA as well, and census dates, is that if you start dropping courses or you change courses, etc., you may need some advice, because you need to make sure that you have the prerequisites that you want for the following progression in the following years. So, for example, if you decide, like Molly, suddenly that you love chemistry, you may have had to done some prerequisites first to go back do those before she could go on to do the second year or third year courses, for example. So prerequisites are actually important. So normally just check to see as you move through. Not so much an issue this year, obviously, because you're in first year, but as you move into second year and third year, you will need to start to think about prerequisites. And look, no one wants to fail a course, and we don't want you to fail a course either. So this is where you see that help. We keep having this discussion all through today, and I cannot emphasise it enough how important it is for you guys to seek help if you're struggling with anything. So if that means that you feel like, oh geez, I really just didn't understand that and it was just in the classroom, go and talk to your teacher, talk to the lecturer. Maybe it's, oh, there's a few more other issues, then go and go to PASS, go to the drop-in centre. There's so many opportunities for you to have that help. It's really important. So we don't want you guys to fail anything. We want you to succeed. And so we've got all of those things here to help you. Now, just be aware that if you do fail more than 50% of your courses, you will be notified by email that you are at risk. I would love it if all of you guys didn't get in that situation and actually you went, hey, wait a minute, I need some help before you found yourself in that situation, okay? So if you find at any point in time you're struggling, really important to tell somebody, let us know, see what we can do to help you, okay? That is probably the one single most important message I actually have for you guys today, is help. That's what we're here for, okay? Really important. So, you're starting this journey. How do you actually navigate through the BSc? You have 3 units that you have to do, science or fiction. Then you have, when you look at the program rules, because there are a bunch of rules, it says you have 69 electives, and you go, wow, I can choose lots. Well, no, actually, we have a little bit of constraints around that. So you have courses, as Molly mentioned, Spanish. How does that go with chemistry? Spanish and chemistry, that's great, awesome. You can go and do something a little bit different. We call them broadening. So you have that opportunity. You can do 2 at level 1 and another one at level 2. But you have to make sure that you don't do more than 30 units at level 1 in doing that. And a lot of your level 3 science courses, you are going to be picking them because you want to do a major. So your major, you may not have any idea right now what your major is going to be, and that's fine. But this year is the year I would suggest that you should start to explore what you like. I loved this in biology, like physics, then to chemistry. I loved this story of Molly's because it is so much like that. Sometimes you don't know what you like or don't like until you've actually tried it out. Okay, so don't be afraid to try different things out. Your journey can be as complex as you want it to be. So my bit of advice would be to start thinking about what you enjoy now, or find out in first year if you've got no idea. So I'm actually going to make you guys do some work. like I would in a lecture. By the way, I help teach Biology 1 with Grant, so I do this sometimes in lectures. If you have your phone on you, you can type in www.menti.com and it will ask you for a code. So if you want to do that, we'll go and find out. It's asking you a question about whether or not you are interested in biology, geology, earth sciences, environmental sciences, or chemistry. Make sure I've actually got all of them there. How are we going? Everyone's... So 125053. Everyone had a vote? I'm just going to go and have a look and see what it looks like. Whoa, we've had 112 responses. And it's still going to change while we're doing it. How are we going? All right. So we've got lots of biologists, lots of chemists, physics, and it's changing as we go. Great. This works out well for the peer mentors. I think we actually guessed which groups people would like quite nicely. All right. So you can see that in the room, so we've got quite a few responses there. You've got people, quite a lot of biologists, quite a lot of chemists, a bit of physics. Environmental science is probably also biology. It's just on a macro level. And then our geologists as well. So that means that you've actually got, if you are interested in biology, maybe you've got a 35% chance of finding someone else in the room who likes biology too. So, as you have lunch today, I'm going to challenge you to ask the person who you end up next to, so, which thing did you choose? Did you say you were most interested in? Have a conversation. Because if you are obviously interested in the same thing, you'll probably end up in classes together. Great, thank you very much for that. That tells us a little bit about what you're interested in. Okay, so in getting you to think about that, it's great that you sort of got some idea about what you're interested in, but you might go, why is there a picture of the Pantheon up there? I'm not going to do architecture, or I'm not going to do history or arts, I'm here to do science. Well, that's up there because it's kind of like what you guys are going to do with your degree. In the first year, you're going to lay really good foundations. Okay, those foundations are your first year biology, chemistry, geology, whatever it might be, with a little bit of a side interest chucked in because you've got your electives, your broadening electives that you choose. At level 2, you're going to build what's, I guess, the strength of the building, the underlying stuff. So if you're doing biochemistry, if you're doing sort of a biochemistry-related major, it'll be all the biochemistry, for example. And then the glory at the top, which is what we call your capstone. Level 3 is you pull everything together and you integrate it all. So when you're thinking about where you go in your journey, what you will need to do this first year is settle the foundations in place. And then you start to build the walls and the roof so that you have this wonderful structure at the end. In your case, that wonderful structure is that you've got good grades, you've got all of those other skills that we need as well. So how do you do that? Well, you'll need to develop a study plan. Now, it's not going to happen overnight, and like Molly, you might change your mind halfway through and your study plan will evolve, and that's what the Faculty of Sciences office is there for. But here's an example of the way it might look. So first of all, you've got your 30 units, maximum level 1. So this person, this example here, has chosen biology and chemistry. They've got science or fiction, and then they've got level 1 electives, and they've chosen some of those into level 2. And then we can see that they want a major, or they've got a double major in this case. They want biochem, and they've got the chemistry. And so they've had to map it out. So one of the reasons why we've suggested to you guys about enrolment advice today, if you're not sure, is you want to make sure that you've got an opportunity to possibly do 2 majors. You may only end up doing 1 major, but you want to make sure your pathways are open for 2 majors if you can, okay? So if you're not sure with your enrolment, head over for enrolment advice today and just double check that you have got those 2 pathways open for you. So you've got relatively limited choices in level 1, but level 2 and 3 gets much better. And look, the reason why I asked you about what you're interested in is because that should be what most interests you. Follow your passion, not necessarily a career, because you know what? You'll make a good career from a passion. It doesn't work the other way around. That is, you won't make a good career and then feel passionate about it necessarily. You want to have the passion and the career together, okay? So, and you know what? You actually do better if you like stuff anyway, is my observation. So if you like something, you usually put more effort into it and you do much better. So I would encourage you to follow your passion, never miss an opportunity to develop your skills. So the real important thing here, other than all of that support we can give you, is to think about flexibility. Molly said this before too, which was great. She didn't even see these slides, so she didn't even know I was going to say this. But the fact is you can move about. You can change your direction. You can change your journey. You have a choice of majors. You can think about work experience and embedding that as one of your level 2 or level 3 electives. You can study overseas. Obviously be aware that part-time study will affect how you enrol, but that's what we're here for, is to help you work through those type of issues. Now, I am also aware that some of you might be in the room because you didn't get into the program you wanted to get into, so you're in the Bachelor of Science. So you can also explore the opportunity to transfer into that other program once you've done really well in your first year here also. So there is a lot of flexibility within science in general. So I would probably just finish off by saying the world is your oyster, okay? You know that pearl in the oyster? You guys can choose wherever you want to go, okay? So that's really important. So I guess the 2 key messages were seek help if you need it, and the second one would be around the flexibility, but okay, it can be a little bit difficult to work your way through that journey, so make sure you talk to people along the way if need be. Now, before we sort of set you off onto your tours and things, are there any questions? Yep.
So this isn't directly related towards science, and I forgot to ask it earlier, but is there any form of permit parking around the uni?
Any form of permit parking was the question. Unfortunately not for students.
Like, a lot of staff are on a wait list for a permit.
I'm on a wait list at the moment. So the question was around parking on campus. Sorry, can't really help you there.
But there is early bird parks at a few places, which is like $10, $12.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yes.
Now I'm in a double degree of Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Teaching. I'm finding that when it comes to the Bachelor of Science, I'm finding that I can't get into any electives because it's been taken over by my education side of things.
Yep.
So I'm wondering if there's any way that I could fix
Okay, so how many of you are doing double degrees? Oh wow, quite a few of you are doing double degrees. Okay, when you do a double degree, the rules change just a little bit. Because you're merging, so in this case it was a Bachelor of Science with a Bachelor of Teaching. So the rules change a little bit in terms of your flexibility in electives because of the fact that your elective spots often get filled up with the other degree. I guess the best thing is, because each double degree combination is different, would be to talk to the Faculty of Sciences office about the best way in which to fit in any electives. In the case of the Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Teaching, it does depend what specialisation you want to head towards. That will impact that side of things. Okay. There was a question over here somewhere. I think I saw, yep. What are the limitations of double majors? I guess less choice of electives in third year. Depends what prerequisites you do in second year as to whether you can do anything. So the question was about double majors and whether there are issues around which majors you choose. Generally, I mean, you can do very different majors, and I have seen some study plans recently of students who have done that. Generally speaking, though, that can be a little bit more difficult because you need the prerequisites at level 2, so you might need to spend a bit more time to get there. Generally speaking, if you think you're going to have something that's very disparate, seek advice at the Faculty of Sciences office and we can make sure you've got the right fit for you. Did I see another question? Yes?
What's the main advantage of doing a Bachelor of Science and
Doing a bachelor. So the question was, what's the main advantage of doing a Bachelor of Science and entrepreneurship together? Look, science is all about solving problems, but quite often in science itself, you might be solving problems, you might be in a research area. The entrepreneurship adds on to that, because entrepreneurship is a skill which allows you to then go and commercialise, if you like. It allows you to go to that next level, that next step would be my answer to that. Jill. Wait a minute, no one can hear you. We're back to the parking permit question.
Okay, so how to get cheaper parking. One way is the Target Centre Point car park. So you can go access that through Rundle Street, and that's all day with your uni card. That's $12. That's for a whole day, but you have to leave the car park before 7 p.m. That's one way. That's because there's a staff person actually checking you out, so at the end. And with your union membership, you can get cheaper parking in the U Park on From, and that's 24-hour all day, $12.
Thanks, Olivia. Another question, Jill?
Thank you. You might have heard that the reference to the Faculty of Sciences office, that's interchangeable with the Science Service Hub. So if you're confused about whether you're going to the Faculty Office or the Science Services Hub, it's the same place. So just come to the Science Service Hub. The third thing was, how many teaching science students are in the room? Okay, if you haven't sought advice on how you've enrolled, I would strongly encourage you to come and see us in the Science Service Hub. You are effectively our student for 3 years, and we're building you pathways that are very prescribed with the end point of teaching. So it's really important that you come talk to us so we make sure your enrolment from day one is absolutely spot on.
Thanks, Jill. Other questions? You're all happy? Looking excited? Ready to go? You should be. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to getting into the classroom and teaching. All of those of you doing Biology 1, I'll teach you. All right. Okay. So where are we up to next then? So definitely no more questions? I would suggest if any of those students who I know are in the room that were doing either the applied biology or the vet or animal sciences, if you're not making your way to Waite or Roseworthy for their orientations, I guess just come and see me after the presentation and I can have a quick chat to you about your degrees, any specific information if need be. Okay, so I'm just going to go over here because I have a little list. We're going to divvy you up now into a couple of groups and we're going to send you off on your campus tour so that then you can go have lunch. I'm sure you're all starving by now. And if you want enrolment advice, I'll remind you that you can do that again later on. Now up the back, just turn around Have a look at these wonderful people up the back here with these blue and yellow. Have a wave, guys. Wave. Thank you. Okay. These wonderful people here are our peer mentors. Okay? So these are the guys you're going to interact with when you do the mentoring, the peer mentoring sessions on Fridays. These guys have been here in this room before first year as well. So they know what uni life's all about, and they've been studying in their second year, third year, or even honours students. These guys know a lot about uni life, okay? So they're going to help you a lot in your journey. So make sure you engage with them. So the first thing we're going to do is, those of you that were interested in biology, have we got our biology mentors? Can you guys, so these guys have got, is there something written on that? Sorry. So I'll ask those of you that are interested in biology and environmental, the ones who said, I like biology, the ones I like environment, if you can head out the back doors now, the rest of you just stay sitting. That should be roughly 35% of you based on the survey. Sorry. Yeah, we can. Okay. Once the biologists have left the room, we will. We're waiting. They're nearly there. This might become a competition to see how quickly each cohort can move. Physicists. How many physicists have we got? We got quite a few. Okay. Who are our physics peer mentors? Are they up the back there? So these, if you guys want to come and go out that door, so as you're walking out the back, the physics students that way. And that will leave. So we should have those of you that are interested in chemistry and geology sitting in the room, yes? Or earth sciences. So who are our mentors for chemistry? Okay, so if you're interested in chemistry, we've got these 4 people up the back here, our 4 peer mentors. If you want to go with them. That means lucky last. Where am I up to? Geology. Sorry. That means lucky last, you're the geologists. So who are our geology? They're easy to pick. They're up the back here. They're the ones that are left. Okay, so we've got a small bunch of geologists. So if you want to head with these guys, and they'll take you on their study tour.